Okay, shall we start? So this is the follow-up session for Monday's video project, informative session. So I think we don't really have a lot of time to talk about the video project on Monday. So today, Dejah will have a follow-up to talk more about it, and then we will answer your question if you have any. Okay, so let's welcome Dejah.
Hey, thanks, Kevvy, and hello, everyone. I'm Dejah, in case you forgot, and let me share my screen. I'm going to finish the introduction that I started on Monday about the video project that you guys are going to be doing this semester, or, well, actually these first 2 months. And just so you know that while I'm presenting, I can't see your comments, but then we're gonna do Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat first. And then once I'm done with the PowerPoint, we'll come back and we'll look at the chat and we'll go through and answer all of your questions. So any questions that you have, feel free to put them in the chat in the meantime. Okay, so let's get started about today. Last time on Monday, when I introduced this project, the very first thing that I did is I just told you what it is about. So the project is basically a project to create a collection or a library of videos for ETAs, ETFs, LETs, and Fulbright-associated people to use in their classrooms and in their English programs. And the goal is that you'll work by yourself or in a group up to 3 people to be able to create videos that we can add to this collection that we're hoping to make. Now, we haven't decided for sure where we're going to put these videos. We might use YouTube as our platform because it is very convenient, but we're probably going to keep these videos for internal use only so that only Fulbright-associated people can use them. Now, this is still a big group of people because it's all of the ETAs, ETFs, LETs, and all the Fulbright-associated schools. So there still will be a lot of people looking at them, but I don't think we're going to make them public on YouTube. We might make them unlisted, so only our internal people who have the links to all of this videos in the video library will be able to access them. So right now that's the idea, but we haven't set in stone on YouTube as the platform. So if you have any comments about video platforms, or if you're worried about it being public to the world, feel free to comment that in the chat and we can talk about that more after. But yeah, so that's a general layout. We're gonna be making these videos for this really interesting collection of videos for all of you guys to use in your classrooms. And also you're gonna be making them on one of the 4 topics that I introduced on Monday. So CLIL, classroom or daily English, storytelling, and then also culture or festivals. These are the 4 general topics that I introduced, and I hope that over the past few days, you've talked to some of your people in your cohort or at your same site, and you've started to think about who you might want to work with and what topic you might want to choose for the video project. And this Friday, we'll be sending you the survey where you have to sign up with your team and the topic that you want. So that'll come on this Friday. But in the meantime, I want to give you a little bit more information about what will come next. What's the next step? Well, the very first thing that we're going to have you do once you're in your team and you know your topic is we want you guys to discuss amongst each other who will do what for this video project. Because you have 2 months to do it, it's going to be due on September 30th. So because you have a long time, there's a lot of different parts of the video that you might have to play a role in. For example, you have to write the script. You have to act in the video or figure out who's going to be maybe directing the video. If you don't want to use your own face, maybe you use puppets or other things like that, you still have to think about who will be doing what in the video creation. And also, the most time-consuming role is editor. So you have to think about who might want to take on more of that editing role once all the filming is done. Now, you can choose to all work together on all parts of this video making process. We're not saying that you have to have one person who's the editor, one person who's the writer, one person who's the actor, or anything like that. You can choose to all work together, and that's fine. We just hope that in the beginning, you can put some thought into what roles people will take on, just to make sure that the work is evenly distributed amongst your group. Because we would hate for maybe the one person who has the most video making experience to end up doing most of the work. So just put a little bit of thought within your own group into how you will evenly distribute the work for this project. So that's the first thing you can do. You can think about what you're good at in your group, what skill you can bring, and what part you might have the most to add to. And then you're going to come up with an outline, general outline for what your video will look like. So this very general outline will be something you can just do in a chart on a Google document and will be uploaded to Google Classroom. And this outline should be very basic. It should just tell us maybe first minute, I'll be doing the introduction to my topic, and I'll just be standing there waving and talking. Minutes 2 to 4, the middle of the video, I'll be talking about my topic, maybe bullet points 1, 2, and 3, and I'll be using a PowerPoint in the background. So you can really just outline the general gist of what your video will look like. And if you remember from my talk on Monday, these videos will probably be about 5 to 8 minutes long. So your outline might just be maybe 8 lines where you're just telling us what's going on kind of generally in each minute. But during this first assignment, this first outline, you don't have to get too specific. You don't have to tell us exactly what you'll say. You can just tell us in general what will be happening in this beginning, in your video for the 5 to 8 minutes. And then after you've created this outline and you've thought about who might be doing what in your group, you're going to submit it to your advisor on Google Classroom for approval. So you've done all this, and then you're going to submit it onto an assignment. So we'll set an assignment on Google Classroom, and you're going to submit this outline, and then also within your outline, you're going to make sure that you write somewhere what role distribution you've talked about. Now, if you decided to all do everything together, you can just write that. So we chose to all work together on each of the parts. If you chose to have one person be the editor and the other two be the writers and actors, you can write that. Just give us some idea that you've thought about how work will be distributed amongst your group. And then, of course, your outline for your video. So we're going to ask that you submit this to us before Wednesday the 11th. This should be very short and easy and quick to make. It should just require a little bit of discussion from you guys over the next couple days after you've decided on your team and topic. And then you should be able to upload it to Google Classroom, hopefully before 6 p.m. on Wednesday the 11th. Only one person from your team needs to upload it. Not all of you need to upload it. So choose one person and make sure you upload it before that time. Of course, if we found that one team has not uploaded anything, then that would not be very good. But you don't need to upload it multiple times for multiple people. Just one person is enough. And then after that, your regional advisor, so for example, I'm for the Northern group, so I'll look at the Northern group Google Classroom, and your own regional advisor for your group will look. And we'll just kind of go through your outlines, and we'll just kind of give maybe a few comments, feedback, and then approval. Just saying like, okay, this looks good, it looks great, you can move on to the next step. And we'll do that very quickly, probably on Wednesday or Thursday, within a day or so of you uploading it, because this should be pretty straightforward. But after that, it's going to get a lot more detailed, because once you have general approval for your video, we're actually going to ask you to write a script. Now, writing a script takes a little bit more time, but for all the video making that I've done in the past and from other people I know who have made videos, having a script is a really important part to make sure that, one, everyone's on the same page, and also, two, to make sure that your video is very cohesive and comprehensive and really says everything you want it to say. So in my opinion, a script is really important, and that's why we're going to ask your team to write a script. But this script does not have to be something verbatim. Your script is actually going to look a little bit more like an expanded version of your outline. So maybe in your original outline, you just said that you're going to do your introduction in the first minute. Maybe instead in your script, your expanded version, you might actually write some lines about what you might say. So, hello everyone, my name is Dejah. Today I'm going to talk to you about blah, 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 blah. Like I just said, it doesn't have to be verbatim. If you write in your script, hello everyone, my name is Dejah, and you say in your video, hi, I'm Dejah, that doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be word for word. This is more just to give you, your team, and also maybe the editor later on an idea of what it's supposed to look like. Because if someone's editing together parts and they go in different orders, having a script to look back on to see what's supposed to come first is going to be really helpful in that editing process as well. But your script should not just say some of the lines that you're going to say. We also want you to think and discuss about some of the other parts of your video production process, such as materials you might need, location you might be filming, and any other problems or issue that may arise. So for example, in your script, we might ask you in the notes section to tell us your location. Where do you want to film this scene? Maybe if you're talking about things you find on the beach and you are in Penghu and you actually want to film on the beach, you could do that. But we want you to tell us that you might be on the beach and talk about what are some of the things that you might need. For example, if you are filming outside, maybe you want to film without any audio outside and add the audio in later because it might be very windy. Or maybe you might want to try and use a microphone if you have a microphone you can borrow from someone. So these are just things to keep in mind that you might want to put into your script to make it more comprehensive and really a full understanding of what you'll need for your video project. I also want you to think about what materials you'll need for each of these parts of your video. So for example, if you want to have a poster that you use as a prop during the video, you might want to write down what that might be and maybe jot down some of the things you might need for that. Maybe poster paper, markers. These are things that you might be able to reach out to your coordinator to borrow if they have some materials like this. Or they might be things that you might need to buy. Now, as far as having a budget for this project goes, we don't have a set budget yet, but if there's something that you really want and you like, you can contact Ariel by email to ask about what kind of budget you can get. This is also something that you can reach out to any one of us about if you have specific things that you want to buy and you want money for. So if you're doing maybe a CLIL video about a science experiment and you want to buy a few different things to make a volcano, you could do that, but just reach out to us with a tentative budget about roughly how much you need and what it would go for, and we'll see what we can do. So this is something you're going to want to think about when you're making your script, because this is the time that we're going to be talking together to figure out what is possible, what is feasible, what needs to be prepared maybe in advance before you start filming. So really your script is kind of going to be the biggest assignment that you're going to have to do for this project this month, because it's really going to be kind of the last step before you actually start filming. So we want to make sure that everything looks good before you get into the actual filming process so that we can have the most complete final product. So yeah, so that's going to be the next big thing that you guys are going to do. And then after that, we actually want to give you guys some time to talk with your advisors. So we're going to ask that you upload your script before 6 p.m. on Thursday the 19th. And you can we'll probably make an assignment on Google Classroom, and you can just upload it there directly just using the Google Docs. And your advisor will be able to kind of briefly look over it. And then instead of giving you feedback in your just on the Google Docs, we're actually going to do one final meeting with your advisor. So any questions that you have, any comments your advisor has for you about your video, we'll do in short little virtual meetings with your advisor from your region. So what we'll do is your advisor from your region or advisors will post their available times onto probably a Google Calendar or an Excel sheet. And what you'll do is after you submit your script on the 19th, your team will decide a time block that you're free, and you'll just sign up on there for everyone to be able to meet with your advisor over the next couple days after you submit it to get that final approval before you start filming. Now, I know this is a lot of dates and information. I have a calendar for you guys that I have on the following slide so that you can see this timeline kind of laid out. And then after that, it'll be time to start filming. So just to kind of review the timeline of what's happened so far, we first introduced this project on Monday with the intro, and today is the follow-up and the Q&A, so giving you guys a bit more information. On the 6th, this Friday, we're going to send you the survey where you're going to report your final teams, so the set teams with you and your teammates, and you're going to get your final topic. So once you reply to that survey and you successfully press submit, if you're able to click on your topic and you press submit, then that's your topic. If the topic is no longer able to be clicked on, that means someone else it's already full, so choose a different topic. So after this Friday, you should know who your team is and what your topic is. And then what you're going to do is you're going to start working on that outline. The outline is going to be due on Wednesday. So I give you a couple days for this because it should be a pretty quick thing to put together. And you guys will have some different times throughout the day where you'll have some downtime. So this should be easy for you guys to find some time to just meet with your team by yourself to be able to make this outline. And like I said, only one person from your team needs to upload it to the Google Classroom. After that, hopefully within just that day, on Wednesday evening or on Thursday the next day, your advisors should be able to give you kind of the approval for it. So the approval should come very quickly from your advisors because it should be just a pretty general outline, maybe a few comments. And then you guys can jump right into making your script, which will be due on the 19th. And so you'll have pretty much a full week to find time to work on this script with your group or your team members. And this one, again, we want you to kind of think about what you're going to be saying, but also think about the different aspects or elements that you might need for this video production that you're going to be doing. And then also, I know that on the 19th is your moving day. That's the day you're going to be moving to your sites. If you finish this before the 19th, you can upload it in advance. Or if you finish it on the 19th, because I think the schedule is, and Kevvy can correct me if I'm wrong, I think some of you are moving to your sites in the morning and some in the afternoon, but the other half of the day that you're not moving is kind of downtime. So I know you guys will be pretty busy that day, but just find some time to upload your final script before then. And then on that same day, on the 19th, the advisors for each of the regions will upload their availability time slots for those final meetings before you start filming. And those availability time slots will be on Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. So these will be very short, maybe not 20 minutes, maybe just 10 minutes. We'll figure that out later. But this meeting should have all of your teammates and then a virtual meeting with one of the advisors from your region. So like I said, on the 19th, we'll upload these like available times and you'll just be able to sign up for one. So we'll probably do it on like a spreadsheet, but perhaps on Google Calendar. We'll figure out what works best. And then after you've had that meeting with your advisor and you get the final okay, then you can start filming. So on the 25th, the afternoon session for our orientation is all for this project. The whole afternoon is for this project, from what I understand. And we'll start the afternoon session with a short PowerPoint presentation from the advisors where we'll give you some final tips about filming. And then after that, you'll be free to get started. And at that point, you should be all done with your maybe all done with your 7 days or close to done with your 7 days so that you can actually be free and see each other in person and film much more easily and conveniently. And then we have kind of the rest of August and then September to finalize these videos and then to edit them. I know you guys start school in September, so the more that you can get done in the last week of August, the better. But also this should be a project that because you've done so much pre-planning during the month of August, so you should know exactly how the video should look. It should be something that should be feasible to be able to complete in your own time during the month of September. So just to kind of clarify, from the 25th until September 30th, when the project is due, you should be able to finish up your filming and then editing your video into the final MP4 file that we'll use to upload to that final library. If come September, you guys feel that it's not enough time, you don't think you can finish, reach out to us. It's a deadline, but it is a little bit flexible. So if you do feel very overwhelmed with the first month of school and you don't have a lot of time for this, let us know. We can always discuss this later. But as of right now, the tentative deadline is the 30th. And during this month of September, us, the advisors, and also the Fulbright admin team, we're going to be sending you guys more information and resources related to editing and finishing your video. We might not have a chance to do like a full workshop on it, but we can definitely send you guys more resources. I know a lot of people are curious about what kind of editing software to use, how to edit videos if you've never edited them before. We definitely have some resources that we can send to you guys in September. Fulbright cannot pay for everyone to download fancy editing software, but there are definitely free things out there that you can use. If you have a Mac, I highly recommend iMovie. It's very, very user-friendly, very convenient to use if someone has a Mac. Also, I believe YouTube has their own video editing software on YouTube Creator that you could explore. And then outside of that, there's a bunch of editing softwares that have 1 month free trials or even free versions that you could use for 1 month just for this project and then could delete. So there's a lot of things out there, and we'll send more resources then. But if you have specific questions about the editing, feel free to reach out to anyone in the Fulbright team in the meantime. And yeah, during the month of September, we will be like checking in with you guys via your bi-weekly reports, but you're also welcome to reach out at any time. I'm really excited to see what you guys create. I know it kind of seems like a big project right now, but I think in the long run, this is going to be a really interesting opportunity to create materials that you and all your successors, the future ETFs and ETAs, will be able to use in their classroom. It's kind of like the new version of the storybooks that the old ETAs made several years ago that have still been used in classrooms today. So I think this is a really interesting project, and I can't wait to see what you guys have to create. And yeah, that is all I have for you. So I guess we'll move on to Q&A time. So are there any questions that you guys have right off the bat? Feel free to ask or send them in the messages. Yeah. Does the video have to be shot in Taiwan? No, it does not. If you are in America, you can definitely shoot it in America, or if you're elsewhere, you can shoot it elsewhere. And also, it doesn't have to necessarily be something that is filmed like with a camera outside. If there's something that you want to do, that you want to make a PowerPoint and have the PowerPoint be the background of the video, that's not even like filmed on a different location, and maybe you just voice over your information, that's okay too. You could even do something in your room with like puppets or with drawings or other kind of anime. It's whatever you would like to do. It doesn't necessarily have to be outside. And then one other thing I'll say, as far as the audience of these videos go, these are videos that we want to have available to ETAs, ETFs, LETs. And as most of you know, most of the Fulbright's associated schools, a majority are elementary schools. So it's probably most useful if the videos you're creating are for an elementary audience, but you could also do junior high school if you want. It's up to you and your team to decide what specific grade level you want your video to be catered to. As for the second question about service hours, I'll ask Kevvy about that. Kevvy?
I think maybe not, because I think the service part is more. I think the admin part. Hope that everyone can get a chance to reach out to the community. But for this editing part or like a video part, I don't think you have a lot of chance to do that. So probably they will say no to this part. And also we'll arrange some like English camp later on. So probably you will fulfill the the community service hours for sure. Remember that for ETF you will attend to community service for to go to the remote area for to hold the English camp. So don't worry about that part.
And as far as the filming goes, I do believe that because there's a lot of prep work that's being put in the month of August, where you guys are still in quarantine, with writing the whole script and really having everything planned out, I do believe that the filming should be able to happen quite quickly in maybe just 1 or 2 sessions meeting in person, because you're doing a lot of prep work in advance. So if you do meet on the 25th after we have our tips for videoing, if you do spend that whole afternoon working on it and maybe one other time, you should be able to finish filming it quite quickly.
So for the 4 topics,
Oh,
so we
yeah.
can probably type it out, right?
I put it on the shared screen. I think
Okay.
if my
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it.
these are the 4 topics again. And as far as the deadline and the timeline goes in general, we'll kind of play it by ear and see how it works. If the script, if everyone feels that the script is due a little bit too early, we can definitely extend that for you. But I think that to give it a shot in the beginning, because it should be something that if you sit down and you talk about it with your group, that should be something you should be able to do after just 1 or 2 sit downs together. But if it does feel too tight, feel free to reach out once we get a little bit closer to the date of. And yeah, I know that it's on the day that you move. So I think what we'll do is in the beginning of that week, maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday, we can check in with you and see how everyone's progress is on the script. And if you think that you need more time, we can probably extend the deadline to maybe Friday evening, and then just have meetings with the advisors on the following Monday and Tuesday.
Hi, I have a couple concerns as well. So in terms of finding partners for your project, I feel like it's a little tricky because some counties, the apartments are spread very far apart. So for us to have to find a partner and then find a topic and then submit everything by Friday for the survey, I think it's a little unfair because we don't know where we're placed in school yet and we don't know where we'll be living. So if for some reason, like if the partner that I find is on the other side of, I don't know, New Taipei City, for example, because I'm in New Taipei City, then I feel like it'll just exponentially make the process 10 times harder because it'll be harder for us to meet. Also, in terms of buying products or buying things for videos, what is the reimbursement process? Because I would like to know basically the entire process so that I will be able to know that I will be fully reimbursed. Also, I feel like the timing for this project is a little off time-wise because we just got to Taiwan and a lot of us are still in quarantine, and yet this entire project was sprung on us and is due basically right at the start of our school. And so I feel like that's a little unfair. I feel like maybe if you could have given us a little bit more time to adjust and get used to teaching, then we would be able to really put our hearts and really put dedication into this kind of project.
Yeah, I think those are some. Thank you so much for sharing your concerns. I definitely can understand that it might be a little overwhelming, and I think that's really good to hear your input because from our point of view, sometimes it's hard to put ourselves in your shoes. So I really appreciate your input, and I think that the team ourselves can think about it a little bit, and we can talk about it probably this afternoon and probably come up and see if there's any kind of ways that we can adjust this a little bit more. I think the idea of doing this project this month while you guys were in quarantine was to give you guys, because you're in quarantine, to have something that you could start to think about as you can't go outside, and some kind of things you could start looking into while you're stuck in your room. But I definitely understand that this might need a little bit more time if it's something that you'd like to maybe be more passionate about, like, and have more time to put more heart into. I think that's really good input. As for not knowing where your partners will be as far as filming goes, and like could be spread out across New Taipei, that's also something to think about. I think for a lot of the prep work in the beginning, that's stuff that can all be done virtually. It's just the filming part and the meeting part, which I definitely understand could be quite far away. So yeah, let's Kevvy, do you have any ideas about that?
I think we'll probably talk about that because I think the timeline can be adjusted for sure, even like a deadline for the clip. I know that it's pretty busy, especially you are going to adjust yourself to the new school for sure. So I think we can consider the timeline, or we can have you guys to contact your advisors to tell them that okay, probably you need more time to extend the deadline for sure. So I think it's pretty flexible, but we hope that we can set up a deadline for you guys because we may need some time to process your video also on like a YouTube or something, because we hope that we can make it more consistent for this is like a product from the ETF program that can make everything is more consistent. So when you use it, you know like, oh, it's our group work or something. Yeah, so we also need some time, but it's totally understandable that you need more time because I know it's pretty crazy at the very beginning of the semester, right? So yeah, we can talk about that and tell you guys the new deadline for sure. And for the grouping part, yeah, I can also consider that. But do you think that if we wait until we know where you are going to be placed, that'll be easier? Sorry, Frida.
Yeah, for the New Taipei city, you will be staying in a temporary apartment close to Taipei just for the summer. And when the school gets started, then you will be moving to a location close to the school. So for the summer, I think, yeah, you are able to meet each other in Taipei City.
So also, yeah. So we can talk about it again to see whether we can adjust the time or not.
Yeah, I think one of the other things about when it comes to editing the videos as well, if you think it would be very helpful to have some kind of workshop for some basic editing skills and extend the deadline for when the edited project needs to be, if you think that would be helpful, I think that's definitely something we can do. I think that, yeah, that's definitely something that we can do, because I know editing can be something that's, if you haven't done it before, it can take a little while to get used to. So if you guys would like an actual workshop instead of just giving you guys some resources, we can definitely think about scheduling something like that as well.
Yeah. And also for ETFs, you only have like a 3 workshop to attend for the whole semester. So I think the Wednesday will be pretty free for you guys. So if you need the time and you need us to tell your school that probably you need some time on Wednesday afternoon to gather and do this kind of editing or this video project, we can also convey this information to the school. Also, like for reimbursement. Okay, so the reason why we need you to send us the list of what you want to buy is that we need to make sure that it's okay for us to reimburse it from the local government. So after we confirm it and you can buy it, the process will be that you will give them our tax number and also the FAC, the name, the title of our the organization to when you buy it, and we need your receipt. That's it.
And we can come up with a small handout for you that can also have the Chinese on it that you can just show to the shop owner that says this is our tax number and this is our name in Chinese, and you can just show it to them and they can help put that information in as well. But yeah, that's why we ask for the materials on the script before you actually buy anything, just so we can prepare and make sure that it all fits into the budget. But other than that, it should be very easy to get a reimbursement as long as you put show the numbers and have the person put that in.
I had a question about like, what is your sort of, I think maybe you've probably gone over it, but I've just sort of gotten mixed up with a lot of information here. But is your vision for the videos for them to be something that like an ETA or a teacher can just use in their classroom? Or is it something that, you know, will be used in sort of like a training or like an ideas setting? Thank you.
Definitely more something that can be used by you guys and your LETs and future ETAs in the classroom. So that's the idea of having the 4 different topics. So there's a variety of different videos that could be picked. And then having this library of videos open to any of you to be able to take one and use it in your own English class. And kind of the idea is that a follow-up, so later in the semester, after all of these videos are made, later down the line, we might also do a second part to this where we have you come up with materials that could be partnered with this. So for example, if in the beginning, in the first half of the project, you did a storytelling video, maybe later down the line in a second project, you might make some handouts that go with that video that could also be used in a classroom setting. I also see that, Lauren, you asked a question about Wednesdays. Kevvy, would you know more about that? I think it's probably a little bit different per each site.
Right. Right. What does that mean? You are switching between schools? Are you going to different school on one day?
I think this is more of what I've heard from a lot of other sites, like schools have them for specific days, and I don't know if they have the same schedule as we do before. So I'm just saying, like, looking at everyone's schedule, I don't know if Wednesdays blocking that off works for everyone when their school schedule may not even allow them to have those days off.
Yeah, so if you have this kind of problem, but you still need the time to do it, so that's why I say probably we need to help you to tell the school that you need some time for the non-workshop Wednesday.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that Fulbright could do to help make sure that you have time to do this project with those Wednesday afternoons. So once you actually start and understand your schedule more, if you let us know about these things, then we can actually help communicate with the school and make sure that that's blocked off for you so that you could all be meeting at that time and have some time to work on this project. Yes, the PowerPoint is going to be uploaded just this afternoon, right after the meeting. So that will be uploaded to the, I believe, to each Google Classroom in the materials section.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know that this project definitely seems, it probably feels like a very big project to tackle right now. And it's definitely something that we just want to get started and get you guys thinking about and start working on now, especially when you're in quarantine and have some brain power to be able to sit down and put some thought into some ideas of what you might want to do. But once things get moving and things pick up speed, if we discover that it definitely takes longer or needs more time or needs more resources or needs more workshops to help come up with the best product, we can definitely extend deadlines and extend the timeline. That's 100% feasible. And it's great to hear your input from that today. And I think that the first step is to just really start thinking about what kind of things you might want to do. And then once we have those basic ideas for the project in place, then we can really start thinking about how long is feasible for these projects and these videos to be done.
So any question? Any more questions? Nope. Okay, so we don't want to occupy you guys here. So probably we can leave the time to coordinator if they have something to announce to you guys. Okay, so but if you have more questions, you can email us or message us or ask on the Google Classroom, and then we will try to answer your questions. Okay, so we'll see you guys again very soon. So bye.